Como falar a palavra filhos em inglês se os filhos são adultos? Será children? Qual palavra em inglês é derivada da palavra em português pequenininho? E os americanos realmente se despedem no telefone sem falar tchau? Tudo isso vamos responder hoje no Amigo Gringo Responde, e quando digo vamos responder é que eu vou trabalhar hoje com uma professora do Cambly, plataforma que te conecta com professores de inglês, todos falantes nativos, 24 horas por dia, 7 dias por semana. Você pode programar sua aula, você pode simplesmente entrar e fazer uma aula on demand, e é não só para adultos, mas também para crianças a partir dos 3 anos com Cambly Kids. Como pode acessar o Cambly? É só usar o link na descrição, e com esse link pode acessar uma aula grátis com Cambly, ou, se é para crianças, uma aula de 30 minutos por só R$1. Se você prefere, pode baixar o aplicativo e usar o código AMIGONovembro. AMIGONovembro. Ok, daqui a pouco vamos entrar em contato com a Alejandra pelo aplicativo de Cambly, mas quem sabe onde eu estou agora? Parece que estou na minha casa, mas na verdade estou no Brasil! Estou no Brasil com Eric e também com Tim, do canal Tim Explica. Estamos dando uma volta de vários estados, incluindo 2 cidades, 2 capitais que eu nunca conheci antes. Quais são? É só me seguir nas mídias sociais e vai saber tudo, tá? Então, já achei a Alejandra aqui no Cambly, tem o computador, está aqui abaixo, e vou só clicar aqui e conectar com ela.
Hi, Seth. Welcome to Cambly.
Hey, Alejandra. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to Amigo Gringo.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
It's really great to have you. You are a Cambly teacher, correct?
That's right.
And
yes,
we're connected through Cambly. And do you ever have any Brazilian students?
I have many.
Really?
Many Brazilian students, yes.
Well, you may get some more because of this.
Fingers crossed.
And where are you right now?
I'm in San Diego in California right now.
Okay, cool. So we get all these questions that come in about English, and sometimes I'm not quite sure how to answer them, and I like to have the help of an English teacher with me. So why don't we just get started?
Shoot, go ahead.
Ok. O Eduardo Serrão escreveu: Amigo Gringo, fale nas palavras em inglês com origem no português. Toda a gente pode procurar na internet, mas é uma curiosidade interessante e meio desconhecida. Okay, so words in English that come from Portuguese. This is totally fascinating. So we went to the great source of everything, Wikipedia.
The all-knowing
Wikipedia, and found a list of pretty amazing words, right?
I thought so. I was really surprised.
So I told Alejandra before when we were talking, pick out a few that you really like, and I'll pick out a few, and we'll talk about them because it's totally cool. So what's one that you particularly liked?
The first one that jumped at me was embarrass.
Embarrass, right? I have the same one here. And so I guess it's said that embaraçar, the same word is in Portuguese. I guess it says it also means to tangle a string or rope, like to get tangled up in something, right?
Like be in some sort of predicament. That's difficult.
Okay, I'll give you one. This is one, I mean, I'm not even sure that most Americans even know this word or they've heard it, is pickaninny. Had you ever heard that word before?
No, I had not.
It's this old-fashioned word that you see in old literature, and it means like a small kid. It generally means a black kid. If it were still used today, it would be considered offensive because it mostly refers to a black kid. But it comes from pequenininha,
like
pequenininha, which means small, like pequeñito, I think would be the equivalent in Spanish. And that's just so amazing. And well, then you think, like, how did that happen? How did Portuguese words get into English like that? And I think that must be from a mixture of colonists and during slavery. I know that a lot of the Portuguese were slave masters for other countries. I don't really know. I'm not sure where it comes from, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, people got around, right? These people were, I'm not going to say nomads, but they were getting around the whole Latin America, right? So they went up and down. It makes sense to think that they took this influence with them, right?
Even in the United States, right? We had a ton of German speakers around the time of independence.
My next word was junk.
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 I don't even think I saw that. Okay, well, junk. Does it say what the Portuguese was?
From junco, from Javanese jong or Malay adjung. And I was really surprised. And I don't know the relation, how it became junk as we know junk in English, like something that's useless.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I mean, we
that's
do know
easily
that
discarded.
that Java is, of course, part of Indonesia, and that the Portuguese, that was part of their, long colonial history was in that part of the world. Okay, here's one. Well, this one every Brazilian will know, but I don't know that they know it's an English word. Tapioca.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I don't think most Americans know that tapioca, even what it is, quite frankly.
Well, the little pearls, right? We make pudding with them.
Right, but
we use them as thickeners, right? They're
but it's a byproduct of yuca, of cassava.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you did not know that, did you?
I did not know where they came from. It just comes from the earth in pearls, I thought.
Of course, we have no idea. That's like a kid who eats a steak and doesn't know that it comes from a cow.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to know.
All right, give me another one.
Marmalade.
Marmalade, mermelada, right? I didn't realize they came from Portuguese. Huh, fascinating.
Mermelada in Spanish is the same, mermelada.
So I guess the question is, how do we know it came from Portuguese and not from Spanish? But I guess people just know
I guess
etymologists know.
Savvy.
Savvy, okay, savvy.
Savvy.
Wow, savvy, what does that mean in English?
Savvy means knowing, a person who is very, very informed of something.
Yeah, and also in a almost like a slick way, he's very savvy. I think the word that they'd use in Portuguese would be esperto. So expert, but in Portuguese it kind of has this meaning of you're kind of clever and kind of know what's going on. You know what this situation is all about. Okay, my last one. This one is the most unbelievable one, is Vindaloo. Now,
Vindaloo, okay.
Which
I thought we were going to have the same last one.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, no, I think I know what your last one is. But in any case, Vindaloo, which to me is an Indian food. It's a food, but it totally comes from Goa, which was a Portuguese colony in India, and it's from vinho de alho. Wine and garlic. Vindaloo. Anyway, I think your last one probably starts with a Z.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
What is it?
It's zombie.
And this is legit. This really comes from Portuguese. Well, it comes from Africa.
Yes.
Via Portuguese. Zumbi. So it's funny because when I hear zumbi and a Brazilian saying zumbi, I always think, oh, they took that from English. That's just a direct copy from English, but it's in fact the exact opposite. Mateus Reis escreveu: Amigo gringo, eu tenho algumas dúvidas. Os americanos utilizam o apelido nos documentos oficiais? Ao se apresentar para alguém nos Estados Unidos, se utiliza o nome, o sobrenome ou o apelido? Nos outros países de língua inglesa, esse hábito é semelhante. So basically, well, the first question, do we use nicknames in official documents? I think the answer to that is probably no.
It's no, we do not.
But what do we use to introduce ourselves to people here?
We would use our name, our regular name, or our nickname if that is how we are best known, or if that is how we prefer to be known. It's a matter of preference.
Yeah.
If I prefer people to call me Alex, for example, which nobody does, by the way.
Okay.
But let's say that I preferred that. I would introduce myself that way to get that into their minds, so they can recognize oh, that's Alex, not Alejandra.
And then I also think there might be some nicknames that you use for friends but not at work. So maybe you go by JJ or something, but at work you're Jennifer.
You can have a family nickname that everybody in your family calls you, would not be appropriate for work, and you would not introduce yourself that way.
Yeah, right.
People will usually be surprised when they find out that's your nickname. Oh my God.
Exactly.
For example, flaca. My dad calls me flaca.
Yeah. Which
I would never introduce myself that way. It means skinny in Spanish, or thin. Thin or skinny. Because I used to be really, really thin.
Magra, that would be in Portuguese. Okay, and do you ever introduce yourself with your first and last name? Would I ever say, hi, I'm Seth Kugel?
I never do. I have heard people do it before, though. It's a matter of preference, how you prefer to be known. Some people just do that automatically, especially if their name is not super long. I think what would stop most people if for example, my name, Alejandra Santa Ana, that's a little long, right? It's a mouthful. So I would stop at Alejandra because it's simpler.
That's a great name, by the way. That name works in Portuguese too. Alessandra Santana. It's a pretty good name in Portuguese. Everybody learns on Amigo Gringo.
I have learned quite a bit so far.
Okay, here we go. Next question. Fábio Daniel Rios escreveu: essas diferenças culturais são fascinantes. Minha esposa sempre chama atenção para o fato de que em filmes e séries americanos os personagens mal se despedem ao fim de um telefonema. Quase nunca dão tchau e muito menos mandam beijos, abraços ou qualquer coisa assim. É assim mesmo na vida real? And you love this question, right? Like,
yes.
What's up with American TV shows where people just... Okay, go ahead. Give us your answer.
So I was equally as baffled when I saw, and I continue to see, mostly in old episodes of TV shows or older movies, not super, super old, but I mean movies from the 80s perhaps. 70s and 80s. It's more common to see a person just hanging up the phone. Like, what? Where's the goodbye? Where's the see you later? And yeah, forget about kisses and hugs. No.
Well, we don't really do kisses and hugs anyway.
No, we
right?
don't. We don't. Maybe if you're like, if you're in love or whatever, right? But
Right.
no, not as a
I
rule.
love you tomorrow. I love you.
But yes, I want everybody to know that that is absolutely not normal, and we always say goodbye when we end a phone call. It is a mystery to me why this happened in so many episodes of shows and movies and misled so many people.
The whole world thinks we just slammed down the phone. It is true, however, that Brazilians do take an extended period of time to say goodbye on the phone. You know, we actually have a video about this. I'll put the link at the end of this video for anyone who's para quem está assistindo quer saber mais. Vou colocar o link no final desse vídeo. We have a whole video about greetings and goodbyes on the phone. O Anderson TK97. Oi, Mr. 7. Eu tenho uma dúvida. Qual é a palavra em inglês que é utilizada para se referir a filhos e filhas? Porque, pelo que eu saiba, kids pode ser usado quando são crianças, certo? Mas quando são adultos, qual é a palavra mais apropriada? E pergunta relacionada de Paulo B. Giagnorio. Ela escreveu em inglês. Seth, I love you a lot. I don't know if I sent you that part, but...
I don't remember, but thank you for letting me know you're very well loved.
Let me repeat that in case you missed it. Seth, I love you a lot. You are clever and very charming. Emoji with 2 heart eyes.
Yeah.
I have a question. If I have siblings, it's my case, can I say I have 2 siblings, or is it not necessary to quantify? When I talk about siblings, is it intrinsic to understand that it's mixed? Could the person ask how many? Okay, I think I got it. But let's do the first one. What's the plural of sons and daughters?
Okay, sons and daughters. We would say children for that. The word children or child, it means both situations. A young child, a young person, a baby up to infancy and even teenage years, that's a child. An underage person and all that from 0 to 17, that's a child. Another definition for child is a son or a daughter without taking age into account. Right. So it means both things. Kid, on the other hand, is understood as a person under the age of 18. That's a kid.
Sure. Yeah.
But even like parents will call you their kid if you're 45.
Yeah, but you're right. It is children. It would be the official word. So if you translate children into Portuguese, you'd have both crianças, which is niños, right, and or you have filhos. So it could mean both. Very interesting. Yes, that's true. And then how about that next one? So same issue with brothers and sisters. The word for both of them together is siblings.
Yeah, that's a gender neutral word that implies both sexes, boys and girls. So when I have siblings, I am implying that I have brothers and sisters without clarifying how many of each. Right. That would be a next question, right? Another question, how many brothers or how many sisters? Or I could clear that up in a follow-up response, right? How many siblings do you have? I have 5, 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Well, this is going to come out the day after Halloween. Do you have any Halloween plans this year?
You know what? I usually do. We just give out candy to the kids around my neighborhood.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I really like that. Oh my God, I have so many positive thoughts about Halloween. I could fill an hour, man.
Well, if you want to speak to Alejandra about Halloween, you know how to do it. You can find her on Cambly. It's Alejandra S. That's how you're
Yes,
sort of
that's right.
known as Cambly. So people can look you up and make an appointment with you or see if you're online, right?
Of course, I am here, and I welcome all of you. Thank you so much for watching and for the invite, Seth.
Thank you very much. Okay, see you later.